Express the following numbers in the usual form. All these numbers are written in the standard form. You have to express them in the usual form. So let's take this first one. 3.52 multiplied by 10 raised to the power of 5. Now since it is written in the standard form, and why? Because the decimal is just after the first digit. Okay, so since this is in the standard form and you have to write it in the usual form, just get rid of this and you'll get in the usual form. How many what's the number in exponent? It's 5. Okay, so 5. Now you have to move this decimal towards the right by crossing these many digits. That is 5 number of digits you have to cross when you move this decimal point towards the right. Okay, so 3, 1 digit, that is 5, then 2 digit, that is 2, so 352. Now your decimal is here, 352 point. Now your decimal is here, and you don't have any other digits in this number, so write 3 more zeros and then move it 1, 2 and 3. So first movement, then second movement, then third, then fourth and fifth. So 2 digits here and 1, 2 and 3, right? So this is 3,52,000 is the usual form of this number. Okay, let's take the second one. In the second one you have 7.54 multiplied by 10 raised to the power of minus 4. Now in this one, here your exponent is minus 4. It means that now you have to move this decimal point towards the left by crossing 4 number of digits. Okay, by crossing 4 digits. Okay, so in this case you have to move left. Towards the left, when you move, you have 7, 5 and 4. So when you move this decimal point by 7, you have moved by 1 digit. Now you don't have any other digit towards the left of this number. So how many remaining? Remaining 3 movements. So 1, 2 and 3 zeros. Put this decimal point here, right? Because we have only 1 digit here and you have to move it by 4. So you put 3 zeros, so total count is 4. Now in this third one we have 3 multiplied by 10 raised to the power of minus 5. Again, in this case, this is actually what? This is 3.0. We can write this number as 3.0 multiplied by 10 raised to the power of minus 5. Again, you have to move this decimal point towards the left. Why? Because this is minus 5. The exponent is negative. Now since the exponent is negative, therefore you will move this decimal point towards the left by moving it by 5 digits. Okay, so 1 digit is 3, remaining are 4. Put 4 zeros before the 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 3. This decimal point is here. This is the usual form of this number. In this fourth one, this is 3.02 multiplied by 10 raised to the power of minus 6. Now again, the exponent is negative. It means that you have to move this decimal point towards the left by 6 digits. Okay, by crossing over 6 digits. 1 digit is 3, remaining 5. So put 5 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This 3, 0, 2 and this decimal point here. Now you have 4.5 multiplied by 10 raised to the power of 4. Now since the exponent is positive, you will move this decimal point towards the right by moving this decimal point by 5 digits. by 4 digits. So one digit is 5, remaining 3. So 4, 5, then 3 zeros, 1, 2 and 3, right? And this decimal point here, it means actually, and that is 0.0. So it means that you can simply write it as 45,000, because decimal point here, it means that it's actually 45,000.0. We can write it as simply as this. In this one, you have 3 multiplied by 10 raised to power of minus 8. Now this means what? This is actually 3.0 multiplied by 10 raised to power of minus 8. Now since the exponent is negative, you have to move this decimal point towards the left by moving the decimal point by 8 digits. One digit is 3. Put 7 zeros before 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and this decimal point here, this is the usual form of this number. In this case, you have 1.0001 multiplied by 10 raised to power of 9. The exponent is positive. You have to move this decimal point towards the right by 9 digits, and when you move this by 9 digits, 1, 2, 3 and 4 digits you already have after this decimal point. Now the remaining are 5 digits more. It means that you will put 5 zeros. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, already 4 digits. You have to move by 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 zeros. The decimal point will come here, and that means it's actually 0.0. You can simply write it as this number. Now here we have 5.8 multiplied by 10 raised to the power of 12. So 5.8 multiplied by 10 raised to the power of 12. It means that you have to move this decimal point towards the right by 12 number of digits, by crossing over 12 number of digits. One digit is already 8, so write it as 5, 8, and then put 11 zeros. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11 zeros. This is the usual form of this number. I leave this last one for you. That's your homework or practice, whatever. Now let's move to the next question, that is, express the following numbers in standard form. You have to express them in standard form. Now these numbers are in the usual form. Okay, so in this case you have, let's count how many zeros you have. This is one pair, this is second pair, this is third pair, this is fourth pair, this is fifth pair. So 5 pairs means 10 zeros, and plus 1, that is 11 zeros. So remember that in this case you have 11 zeros before this 8. Now 11 zeros and this one digit, that is 8. That is one digit, that is 8. Okay, so we have to bring this decimal point just after 8, because you have to write this number in the standard form. Okay, so 11 zeros and one number this, so 11 plus 1, that is 12. So you have to move your decimal point by crossing over towards the right by crossing over 12 digits. Okay, so when you do this, it's actually 8.5 multiplied by 10, and this is 12 raised to the power of minus 12, right? Because if you simplify this, if you write it in the form of usual form, and what we have done just here, practiced here, so you can check the answer. This is 8.5. That means that in this case now the exponent is minus 12. That is, you have to move your decimal point towards the left by 12 digits. 8 is already there. 8 is already there. It means that you have to put 11 zeros. You have to put 11 zeros before this 8, and then you have to put the decimal point, and that's exactly this one, right? It means that when you move your decimal point towards the right, you always put your exponent in negative, as negative number. Again, in this case, you have to bring your decimal point here. You have to bring your decimal point here. That is after 9, right? After 9. So count how many zeros do you have here. 1 pair, 2 pair, 3rd pair, 4th pair, 5th pair. Again, 5 times 2, that is 10, plus 11 zeros. 11 zeros. One digit, that is 9. So 11 plus 1, that is 12. Now since you have to move your decimal point towards the right, so write it as 9.42 multiplied by 10 raised to the power of minus 12. Okay. In this case, you have to write this in the standard form. Now, in this case, 6 is the first digit and your decimal point has to be here. 6 point this much. Okay. So, again, now in this case, you have to actually move. Actually, you have to move your decimal point is here actually. It's something like this number. Okay. Your decimal point is actually resting here. You have to bring this decimal point from this position and just after this 6, or you can say just before this 0. So count how many digits do you have to, this decimal point has to cross over when it moves towards the left in this case. So 1 pair, 2 pair, 3 pair, 4th pair, 5th pair, 6th pair. So 6th pair means 12 zeros and plus 1, 13 zeros. Two digits are here, that is 15 digits. That is, you have to move this decimal point towards the left by 15 digits. Now when you do this, you actually write it as 6.02. 6.02. Now you don't need to put these many zeros here. You don't need to put this many zeros here. Just remember this number and write it as 10 raised to power of 15. Raised to power of 15. Now if you want to check your answer, you can check your answer by writing this number in its usual form. That is, exponent is positive, that is 15. It means that you have to take this decimal point and move towards the right by 15, by crossing over 15 digits. 2 digits are already there. You have to put 13 zeros. So when you put 13 zeros, it's actually, you will get this original number that is given to us. Now, if you want to understand why are we actually doing it, let me explain you. That would be better. So this is 602 and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 and 13 zeros, right? Okay. I want this decimal point here. So if I divide this number, remember that these are 13 zeros and 2 digits here. Our decimal point is here. We can write this number as this much, this number. Now, if I want to bring this decimal point to here, so if I divide this number by 1 and 15 zeros, right? Because 13 zeros and this 2 digits. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 and 15, right? If I divide this number by 15 zeros, it's basically what? 10 raised to the power of 15, right? It means that if I divide this number by 10 raised to the power of 15, this decimal point will reach here, But when you do so, actually at the same time, you have to multiply this number by 10 raised to the power of 15. Why? Just to, keep this original number as it is. You should always have this number. And if you are dividing this number by 10 raised to the power of 15, at the same time you'll have to multiply this number by 10 raised to the power of 15. It's something like you're doing something like this. Is it clear? Now you can bring this 10 raised to the power of 15 in the denominator of this number and you'll get this decimal point here. So the main thing is that you have to, it's like you have to maintain the neutrality. Your number should be, the original number should not change in that way. That's why your answer is 6.02 multiplied by 10 raised to the power of 15, because this will divide this number, and that's why this decimal point will come from here to this place, right? Okay. I'll put the video link of the tutorial where we have discussed all these things in detail, right? The theoretical portion, you will find that video link in the description box below. Now here, your number is 0 point. Let's count how many pairs of zeros do we have. 1 pair, 2 pair, 3 pairs, 4th pair. Okay, 4th pair means 8 zeros. Okay, 8 zeros and 1 digit, that is 8. You have to bring your decimal point after 8. That is 8 zeros plus 1, that is 8, this number 8, and you have to move this decimal point from here to here, and in that process you have to cross 9 digits. You have to cross 9 digits. Okay, so if you want to understand it, this is 8 zeros, so 0.1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, this 8 3 7. I want this decimal point from here to here, move it from here to here. So if I multiply this number by 10 raised to the power of 9, this decimal point will move. Why? Because this exponent is 9. In that case, your decimal point will move by crossover by 9 digits. Okay, but to keep this original number, you'll have to at the same time divide this number by 10 raised to the power of 9. Okay, so while this 10 raised to the power of 9 helps this decimal point to come from here to here, your number becomes 8.37, but you have 10 raised to the power of 9 in the denominator, and you know that 1 divided by 10 raised to the power of 9 is actually what? 10 raised to the power of minus 9, right? That's why we multiply it 10 raised to the power of minus 9, because this will get consumed in this process of moving the decimal point. You will have 1 here, so this 1 divided by 10 raised to the power of 9 is actually what? This number, and that's why you write it in this way, right? Now you have 3 1 8 6, 1 pair, 2 pair, 3 pair, so you have 3 pairs of zeros, that is 6, and this one 7. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 and 7 zeros. You have 7 zeros. Remember this one. Your number is actually in this form, right? Now I want this decimal point from here to here at this position. You have to move it from here to here. It means that you have to move your decimal towards the left, and by how many digits? 7 zeros, and then these 3 digits, that is 7 plus 3, that is you have to cross over 10 digits towards the left. So crossing your decimal point towards the left by crossing over 10 digits is actually means what? If you divide this number by 10 raised to the power of 10, so in that case that will move this decimal point from here to here. But in order to keep the original number, actually what you will do is you at the same time you have to multiply also. That is 10 raised to the power of 10 divided by 10 raised to the power of 10. While this will get consumed in moving this decimal point from here to here, So your number becomes actually what, 3.186. No need to put these zeros, just leave it and then write this number, that is 10 raised to the power of 10. Now you can check your answer. This is 3.186, right? And you have to move, if you have to write the original number, that is this one, so 3 zeros here, and you'll have to put 186. You have to put 1 2 3 4 5 6 and 7 zeros if you want to write it in the usual form, because it is 10 raised to the power of 10. So this is the exponent is positive. It means that your number, this decimal point, will move towards the right, and by crossing what, 10 digits. 3 digits are already there. You put 7 zeros and you get your original number if you wanted to check your answer, right? So this is the way. And just check the video link of the theoretical portion that we have already discussed.